Go into your working folder and open up Anchors 101, and let's get ready to rumble. Let's talk about anchor points. Now, in the previous lesson, we just kind of touched on paths. The idea is paths are the shape that we can fill, or we can add patterns to, or gradients, or whatever it's going to be. That path controls how that shape is made. But it's the anchor points that control the path. Now, if you pick up the pen tool and begin using it over here, we're going to do that in a second. Basically, when you click, you create an anchor point. Now, I blew that up really big, but it would look like a little bit of a square. Now, notice the color is blue. Now, I just made it that way. I made the path blue. But if you come over here, you will notice that each one of these layers has a different color. Now, the cool thing about that is, as you're drawing a path, the color of the path and the anchor points will reflect the color of the layer that you're in, and it makes it very easy to tell what path is in what layer. We'll talk more about that when we get to the chapter on layers. But if you select an anchor point, it becomes filled with, again, whatever color that layer is. Now, those would be considered straight anchor points. If you're using them, they would create a straight line between 2 points. But you might also see anchor points, again, that's huge and blown up. You might see it looking like the old rabbit ears I had on my television set when I was younger. Or, I don't know, maybe a Martian with antennae. This is, of course, the anchor point, and these are the direction lines coming off of the anchor point. Now, I've got a blank document over here, just nothing. I just said File New. And basically what I want to do here is just show you a couple of practice moves with the pen tool right here. You have a lot of different kinds of pen tools. Go to the plain old, straight old pen tool, shortcut letter P. If you come over here, you'll notice that the pen tool has like an asterisk next to it. That means you're creating a new shape. You're not connecting to anything. It's going to be brand new. So if I click somewhere, okay, there is my little tiny anchor point. Now, if I just click someplace else, it will draw a straight line between those points, and you will notice that the pen tool itself has nothing next to it now. Now, what that means is you may not see an anchor point, but if you click, it's going to connect somewhere. So if we come, I don't know, say to about here, and click again, and then come up here. Now, watch what happens when I go over the first anchor point. We see a little circle come up. Now, that little circle means you're going to close the shape off. And if you come over here, you have an asterisk again, so you can create another shape. But what if you want to create an open shape? You don't want to close it off. Say I click here. I want to do maybe a line, just a straight line. And I click here, and I come over to about here, and I click again. Okay, how do I restart the tool to draw something else? Well, there are a couple of ways you can do it. One way would be to actually, and this would be very inefficient, is go over and pick up another tool and then come back to this tool. No, don't do that. Reach over on your keyboard and hold or press down the return key. That's the return key on Mac, enter key in Windows. And what it will do is it will reset the tool, and you can start all over again. Now, in this case, let me go ahead and get rid of that one. Let me come over here, and this time, let me click and drag. Now, this is creating those antennae that you saw. The direction lines are controlling the bending of the shape. If I come over to, say, about here, and do the same thing, as you can see, I can create an entirely different shape. Let me go ahead and come over to about here again and do that again. Now let's stop there for a second. If I come over and pick up my direct selection tool, this one right here, and I come over, notice how the anchors, once you touch them, get bigger. That's kind of nice. You can hit them with a target. But if you don't see that, or you want to modify it, go to Edit in Windows, Illustrator on a Mac, and go to Preferences and go into Selection and Anchor Display. We were here before. Here are the ways that you can view your anchors. I like this one, highlight the anchor on a mouse over. Tolerance of 3 pixels means it will show it to you if it gets within 3 pixels. Okay, let's go ahead and get out of here. That's why you see it when I go over it. Now, if I click on it, you can see it becomes solid. But it means I can move it, maneuver it, do anything I want. So if I have that selected, which I do, you can see these are hollow, and that one's selected. I can use my arrow keys left and right. No, whatever you want to do. Drag it if you want to, up and down. If I want to move these down here, I could marquee both of them, which would be easier than shift-clicking on them. And again, I've got control of those. Now over here we have smooth points. And if I click on one, let's go ahead and select it like that, you can see the point, if I click it, will display both of these. If I click on the one on the bottom, notice that it impacts only the area to the right. If I go to the top of this one, it impacts the area to the left. Now this one here and this one here only have basically that one point. We don't have anything going out that way. So if I come up here and play around with this one, it's not changing anything, but it's anticipating the fact that I might later on add more to this. So when you're creating straight points, you just click and you get the shortest distance between 2 points, straight line. When you are working with direction lines, as you maneuver and change that direction line, it imparts that to the bending of the path. And again, remember, the path and the anchor points really are things you never see. Kind of like, the bones inside your body. You don't see them, but they influence what's on the outside. Those are anchors and those are paths.